Who is this man? What does he mean to you? Who is this man? And what does he mean to you? Now, I'm guessing most of you know the second figure pretty easily, but the first one, Hamid Karzai, he is the first democratic leader of Afghanistan. He is arguably the reason we are at war today. Now, I'm not here to inform you on political awareness, but I am here to inform you on ways to avoid fast food. Now, you see, we recognize Ronald McDonald over someone who can actually be considered important to each and every one of us, because fast food is embedded into our minds so crazily, I guess. Now, I've been a fast food eater for 15 years, but for the past 3 years, I have not touched it once because I've learned how to avoid it. So I'm going to teach you the dangers of fast food and the 3 ways to avoid it, which are to plan, use, and clear. So, what makes fast food so dangerous? To start off, how often it's eaten. According to the famous Super Size Me documentary, 1 in 4 Americans will use fast food as a meal every day. That's 5 of you. And 5 of you eat it as a meal today. You're not supposed to eat it more than once a month. It's gotten to the point where the most eaten vegetable in the country is the French fry, and that's true. But the most dangerous part about fast food is what it leads to, and that's obesity. As most of you may know, obesity is an epidemic in America. The Center of Preventable Disease and Control is saying that obesity will be the #1 preventable death in America, surpassing cigarette smoking. So this is a serious deal. 60% of Americans, if they're not overweight, are obese. Obesity can lead to asthma, diabetes, a plethora of cancers and diseases. So, now that you know how dangerous it is, how are we going to avoid it? The first way is to plan. Picture this. 11:30, you're with your friends and someone says, let's get some Wendy's. You know it's the only thing open and it's cheap. I'm sure a lot of you get in that situation. I know I have. Well, first I'm going to say, plan for that. You go out, you bring a couple of bills. Maybe instead, pack a sandwich, pack a drink and chips, and it's cheaper and it's healthier. Also, according to thebargainist.com, which is good ways to save money, they say that keep snacks in your car. Maybe chips and dip, maybe dried fruit, anything, pretzels. Keep in your car, and you know maybe you won't be as hungry at 11:30 night. Just have a little snack. Also, if you have all your meals that day, maybe you can avoid the situation completely. Maybe you won't even be hungry at that time, because you're not supposed to have a meal after like 7 o'clock anyway. So, if you plan, you could really avoid fast food. Also, another way is to use. Now, when I say use, I mean your grocery store is probably your best bet. Now, a grocery store has a wide variety, it's cheap, and it's healthy. You can get a lot of food supplies and cook things like chili, soup, pasta, which are cheap and will last you a long time. You can grab it and go, and instead of getting fast food. Also, according to nutritionist Carolyn Dean, bottled water is very good to keep with you because sometimes we confuse hunger for dehydration. So maybe instead of getting a whole meal of fast food, just get a bottled water and you'll realize that's all you need. Also, instead of getting drive-through, you can just get prepared foods at the grocery store. If you think about it, they're made right there and they're sold to you. I think God only knows how long that chili has been sitting there in Wendy's. So now that you know how to utilize and use, we gotta know how to clear, which is definitely the hardest step. Now when I mean clear your head of this fast food brainwash. The average child sees 10,000 ads a year. That's according to the Super Size Me documentary. Now, fast food is the second most advertised industry on television. Now, if you think about this, you hear Wendy's, Wendy's, Wendy's all day. When the time comes to make a decision, that's going to be the first thing that comes to your mind. Limit the amount of TV you watch, and you know you can make a decision for yourself. Also, do some research. You'll know that McDonald's does not love to see you smile. Honestly, their first mascot, Ronald McDonald, was fired for being too fat. Also, according to the fastfoodfacts.com, McDonald's calls people that eat a lot of their food heavy users. And if you're like me, you never want to be called a heavy user in anything in your life. So, now that I've told you how to plan, use, and clear, as well as the dangers of fast food, I hope that you can recognize this man and ways to avoid him. Thank you.